Laughter ricocheted through my aunt's colonial-style living room as my business cards scattered across the polished oak floor. Tile. Brand strategy consultant? Seriously? Drew scoffed, grinding one under his designer loafer. You're 36. Time to grow up and get a real job. He was 2 years younger and the family's latest prodigy, freshly minted as an executive at Haven Tech Systems, a fast-growing AI firm downtown. I knelt to gather my cards, slate-gray, embossed, precisely designed. They weren't cheap, Drew. He shrugged. The stainless steel watch our grandparents had just gifted him glinting under the chandelier. Neither is failure, he said. Consulting's just a fancy word for unemployed. My aunt breezed in with a tray of prosciutto crostini. Cammy, honey, still freelancing? If you want something stable, I could speak to your uncle. Maybe Haven needs an assistant. I tucked the cards into the inside pocket of my tailored navy coat, Italian wool, custom cut. Not that they'd imagine it was anything but off the clearance rack. To them, I was still the one who'd left a stable corporate job in New York to chase branding dreams. They didn't know that 2 hours earlier, I'd signed final acquisition papers through my firm, Cavalier Equity Partners, to take ownership of Haven Tech. I'm doing well, Aunt Rebecca, I said, already thinking through the transition plans. Drew leaned back with smug ease. Enjoy your little projects, Camille. While you're polishing pitch decks, I'll be running the company. The CEO practically said I'm the future. He didn't know that same CEO had already agreed to step down. When do you start? I asked, playing along. Monday. He flashed his new business cards like a trophy. Executive Vice President, Strategy and Expansion. Uncle Glenn strolled in, beaming. The golf club boards thrilled. Drew, finally, someone in the family doing real business. I just smiled, picturing their faces when Monday's press release dropped. Cavalier Equity Partners acquires Haven Tech Systems in private strategic deal. Founder Camille Vance to assume board chair role. None of them suspected that the quiet architect behind Cavalier, the one acquiring their Golden Boys company, was the same Camille they'd dismissed for years. Camille was just showing us her consulting cards, Drew added, air quoting the word like a punchline. Uncle Glenn spotted one card, torn on the floor. Strategy work, huh? Aunt Rebecca sighed, swirling her wine. Sweetheart, it's been 3 years now? Maybe this entrepreneur phase. 3 years. In that time, I'd flipped my grandmother's modest inheritance, under $1 million, into a $310 million investment engine. Cavalier now held controlling stakes in 15 companies across biotech, AI, and digital infrastructure. Each acquisition quiet, discreet, no headlines, no handshakes. Actually, I said, reaching for my bag, I've got some major meetings tomorrow. Things are about to change. Change? Aunt Rebecca raised an eyebrow. Like, a real job? Something like that. I thought of the encrypted confirmation I'd received just before dinner. Cavalier's 67% majority stake in Haven finalized. Don't expect any favors at Haven, Drew called after me. They've got standards. I paused in the foyer and turned, letting a smile linger. Don't worry, I have a feeling we'll be seeing each other very soon. Outside, I slid into my charcoal Audi, sleek, understated. As I pulled away, my phone chimed. My assistant had confirmed the 9 a.m. board meeting. CEO transition protocol queued. Legal briefings prepped. By noon Monday, I would no longer be a rumor. I'd be the name behind one of the biggest private acquisitions in Chicago this year. A message popped up from Aunt Rebecca. Drew left some of his networking contacts behind. Want me to save them? They might help. I smiled, typing back. No thanks, I've got all the contacts I need. The weekend passed in a blur of family group texts. Photos of Drew's corner office, his gold-accented nameplate, his ergonomic chair, all sent with pride. I read each message from my penthouse office, Lake Michigan stretching beyond the glass, the Sunday haze curling around the skyline, calm before Monday's storm. Behind me, the Cavalier Equity Partners logo gleamed, a silver falcon mid-flight. Miss Vance, Kate's voice came through the intercom. All 17 board members have signed the NDAs. Only the CEO knows your identity. I nodded, remembering Graham Delaney's face during our private meeting last week, the moment he realized the woman acquiring his company was the cousin of his newly hired VP. And Drew's orientation starts at 8 a.m. Kate smiled. Right on schedule. And the company-wide announcement? 10 a.m. Main auditorium. Drew's confirmed for front row seating. Perfect. Let him savor the moment. The title. The illusion. Then pull the curtain. My phone buzzed. A message from Drew in the family chat. Last chance for career tips. Camille. Hope that consulting thing works out. I was composing a breezy reply when Kate burst in, tablet in hand. You'll want to see this. It was Drew's new LinkedIn post. He stood proudly beneath Haven's logo, smug and polished, captioned, "Honored to join Haven Systems as EVP of Strategy and Expansion. Time to disrupt the future." Comments rolled in. "Dad, that's my boy. Uncle Glenn, trailblazer. If only they knew. Make sure the photographer's in position tomorrow." I told Kate, I want every angle of the reveal, especially when Drew puts it all together. "Already arranged," she said, then paused. "By the way, Drew mentioned your parents might stop by to see his new office." "Even better. Let them all watch what real strategy looks like." The rest of Sunday, I fine-tuned the transition plan. Haven had potential, it just needed new blood. Old hierarchies and ego-driven leadership had stifled its momentum. Under Cavalier, we'd streamline, digitize, and shatter the echo chamber. My phone kept lighting up. "Mom, Drew's office view is breathtaking. Lake Michigan in every window." "Dad, he's already setting up meetings with major clients. That's leadership." "Drew, want me to save you a supply closet?" "Camille, could be perfect for your consulting." I left them all on read. Tomorrow, I'd present a future that didn't include Drew Vance, EVP. At midnight, one last notification lit up my screen, this one from me. "If you've ever been underestimated by the people who know you best, stay tuned, because tomorrow, when Drew walks into that auditorium, you'll want a front row seat to watch the real owner of Haven Tech take the stage." And then came the only message that mattered, one that had been sitting in my inbox for years. "Give them hell tomorrow, sweetheart. Success is the best revenge, but making them watch? That's the encore." Grandma. I slept like a queen, no anxiety. No doubt, just dreams of glass boardrooms and stunned silence. Monday morning broke crisp and clean. The city stretched awake beneath sunlight like a stage set for reinvention. I dressed with purpose, a charcoal Milan-tailored suit, the same one I wore when I signed the Haven acquisition. But today, I added my grandmother's diamond pendant. A quiet tribute, a signal of the full-circle moment. "Miss Vance," Kate's voice came through the elevator intercom. "Your cousin's arrived. He's making moves already." I raised a brow. Define moves. "He's fired 2 senior managers and requested a full repaint of the executive suite. Says the color palette doesn't match his vision." I checked my watch. 8:15 a.m. "How long until HR finishes onboarding?" "He's trying to skip it. Said he's ready to lead." I smiled. Let him keep digging. At 9:30, I stepped into the Bentley. Not the discreet Audi reserved for family functions, but the one with bulletproof glass and a driver named Marcus. Corporate mode engaged. Outside Haven Tech's sleek HQ, I spotted my parents striding toward the building like visiting royalty. My phone buzzed. "Drew, corner office is coming along great. Don't worry, I'll wave if I see you out front cleaning windows." I finally replied, "Looking forward to our 10 o'clock meeting. Don't be late." He shot back immediately. "Sorry, sis. Executive meetings only. Maybe next time." As I exited the car, 2 security guards straightened, fully briefed, fully aligned. Inside, the receptionist rose at once. "Welcome, Miss Vance. The boardroom is prepared at your convenience." Showtime. At 9:55, I waited backstage behind the auditorium curtain. 500 employees filled the seats. Drew sat front row, grinning, legs crossed like he owned the place. Our parents flanked him, beaming. His assistant dashed back and forth like a glorified metronome. Kate handed me the latest shareholder report and smirked. "Your cousin just sent a company-wide email." I glanced at the screen. Subject, Welcome to a new era, EVP Vision for Transformative Leadership. Body, as your new Executive Vice President, I promise to revolutionize Haven systems. Change starts today. Drew's voice carried through the spaces loud, proud, oblivious. Backstage, Haven Tech's current CEO, Graham Delaney, approached with the grace of a man walking a plank. "Ms. Vance," he said, low and urgent, "your cousin's already demanded 3 more resignations. He's threatening to restructure the product and data teams." I nodded calmly. "There will be a restructuring today, Graham, just not the one he's planning." At exactly 10 a.m., Graham stepped on stage. The auditorium fell silent, except for Drew's stage whisper to our parents. "Watch this. They're about to announce my first initiative." Graham spoke into the mic, steady and rehearsed. "Good morning, everyone. As you've heard, Haven Tech recently completed a strategic transition. Today, I'm honored to introduce the visionary leading us forward. Please welcome our new owner and CEO, the founder of Cavalier Equity Partners, Camille Vance." Silence. Then, the delicate crash of porcelain. Drew's coffee cup shattered on the tile. My mother's hand flew to her chest. My father stopped breathing mid-clap. And I stepped into the spotlight, heels clicking, head high. "Thank you, Graham," I said, claiming the podium. "For those of you who don't know me, I'm the founder and CEO of Cavalier Equity Partners. As of last week, we hold a 67% ownership stake in Haven Tech Systems." Gasps swept the room. Phones lit up. Whispers bloomed like wildfire. I let the silence breathe. "In fact," I added, locking eyes with Drew, "some of you may have received an email this morning about transformative leadership." I clicked to the first slide, Cavalier's portfolio glowing crisp and undeniable on the screen. "The transformation begins now, though not in the way some expected. Under our guidance, Haven would modernize, expand globally. And most importantly, I let the pause sharpen into steel, eliminate outdated leadership structures that reward ego over innovation." From the front row, my father stood. "This is absurd." I didn't flinch. "Security," I said, calmly. "Please escort any non-employees from the auditorium. We're now entering a closed session." "Wait." Drew shot up. "You can't do this. I'm the executive vice president." Click. Next slide, a new organizational chart. "That position," I said, voice clear as crystal, "was eliminated this morning." I tilted my head. "Though I hear the IT department could use a junior analyst." "You did take that one coding class in college, right?" Drew's mouth opened, then closed. But my office. My business cards." "Drew Vance, EVP will need to be cleared out by noon," I replied. "Company policy on eliminated roles." I stepped closer, let the moment settle. "Unlike you, I won't toss the cards. They'll make a great exhibit someday, in our case study on how not to lead." My mother was crying now. Mascara traced down her cheeks like ink on a burned page. "Camille," she whispered. "How could you do this to your cousin?" I turned to the room, 500 employees, watching in rapt silence. "The same way you all did it to me. By deciding that success only looks one way. By dismissing anyone who didn't match your version of ambition." The next hour flew. I unveiled our roadmap. Growth initiatives. Global strategy. Fielded questions from employees whose eyes now gleamed, not with fear, but with belief. My family didn't move. They just watched, expressionless, as their vision of me collapsed in real time. Later, I found them lingering outside my office. My corner office. The one Drew had tried to redesign in his own image. "This is humiliating," he muttered. "I already told everyone about my role." "Consider it a lesson in due diligence," I said, turning to the window. "Always know who owns the company before you start playing king." Dad stepped in, voice switching into boardroom mode. "Camille, sweetheart, let's talk. Family should support each other." I turned fully. "Like you supported me? When you mocked my business, trashed my career, and acted like my name was yours to toss around?" Mom's voice cracked. "We were trying to protect you." "No," I said softly. "You were trying to control me." To force me into your mold of what success should be. I sat behind my desk, sunlight catching the diamond pendant around my neck. My grandmother gave me this on the day I launched Cavalier, I said. She told me real success doesn't ask for permission. Drew tried one last plea. The country club. My reputation. Please, just give me a second chance. Actually, I said, pulling open my laptop. I don't. I slid a crisp Cavalier business card across the desk. If you're into consulting now, start here. Handle it carefully. They're not cheap. Security stepped in. As they were escorted out, I heard Drew mumble to Dad, "Think Benson's firm still has that assistant opening?" In the weeks that followed, Haven Tech transformed. Innovation soared. Collaboration flourished. Teams moved faster, bolder, together. The hierarchy had been the real bottleneck. Once it was gone, everything accelerated. When the press announced Cavalier's takeover, Haven's stock jumped 30% overnight. My family's reactions? Predictably chaotic. Mom sent a flurry of emotional texts about loyalty and misunderstandings. Dad alternated between veiled threats and desperate offers to rebuild trust. Drew posted cryptic LinkedIn updates about new chapters and resilience in transitions, while quietly applying for entry-level jobs at firms that wouldn't ask too many questions. Exactly 1 month after the reveal, I got the email. An invitation to deliver the commencement address at my old business school. Theme: redefining success, challenging outdated paradigms. I accepted immediately. And planned to bring a stack of Drew's shredded business cards as visual aids. The morning of the speech, one last text buzzed on my screen. Grandma, saw Haven Tech's latest numbers. Beautiful work, sweetheart. Sometimes the best revenge isn't proving them wrong. It's proving yourself right, in ways they can't ignore. I stood in my office, the one Drew had borrowed, briefly, watching the Chicago skyline pulse with light. I thought about success. How it's misunderstood. How it's measured. How often it's mistaken for volume, instead of value. On my desk, beside quarterly projections and global partnership plans, sat one photo. My grandmother and me. The day she handed me her legacy. Both of us smiling, like we already knew how this would end. Because we did. If you've ever been underestimated, dismissed, or told your path didn't count as real success, I hope this reminds you. You don't need approval to be powerful. Leave a comment if you've ever had to prove your worth in silence. I'd love to hear your story, because I know I'm not alone. And if this resonated with you, hit that subscribe button. Let's keep building a space where quiet strength wins. My advice? Be patient. Build quietly. Let your work speak. And when your moment comes, don't just prove them wrong. Prove yourself right, in ways they can't ignore.